Hello everyone, this is Razorflamekun, and in this episode of the Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction Let's Play, we are going to be heading back into the monastery, into the barracks, to take care of the quest for Charsi, which is to go ahead and find the Horadric Malus. But before we do that, I have to sell a few things, which includes mana potions and some throwing potions and stuff that I'm not going to be using. Also, I check on my tomes, which I don't, my tomes, and I did need to buy a few scrolls of Identify, but I went ahead and bought them. Now we are going to be heading back to our stash and depositing the remaining gold. Then we're going to be heading over to the waypoint, and this time I actually take the waypoint and we go to the outer cloister. And here I'm actually explaining what I'm going to be doing in the next few episodes, which actually turned out to be a bit different. In this episode, we are going to be going and finding the Horadric Malus, which is the sword Charsi wants us to find, and we are going to make it to the jail level 1 waypoint by the end of this episode, hopefully. And then at the end of next episode, we will hopefully make it to the inner cloister. However, that won't happen. It won't be until the end of the 20th episode that we make it to the level 2 barrack. No, the inner cloister. So don't worry about that. That will be happening. Again, this is in post-commentary, meaning I am doing all of this commentary after the recording was done. This is mostly due to a fault of my microphone not being turned on to the correct setting for some reason. Anyways, these are standard run-of-the-mill enemies that actually deal a fairly decent amount of damage. So what you want to do is, when you take about a quarter of your damage, use a light or minor healing potion, and then immediately pick up another one if you find one on the ground nearby. Also, at this point, I would recommend you kill every enemy you see for experience farming, because when you face the area boss for Act 1, I suggest and recommend you be at least level 16 to 18 or so. Please also ignore the phone in the background. Hold on a sec. Anyways, you can go ahead and kill off the barrels, which will sometimes spawn enemies for you to fight, and will also sometimes give you items. Here I'm exploring a new area of the outer cloister, and this actually turns out to be the right way. Now, I do need to mention a few things about the barracks. One, and the rest of this act, you're going to be going through a lot of maze-like areas, especially very, very soon, in the barracks, the jail, and the catacombs. The inner cloister is fairly straightforward, but what I'm doing, but just be prepared to explore a lot in those areas of this act. What I'm doing right now is basically going around and killing stuff, gaining experience for when I actually go into the next area, which is a jail. Whenever I say area, I mean the next place in the map, which at this point is actually the jail. No, it's the barracks. Then it's the jail. Anyways, the smith that you're finding is in the not in the jail, in the barracks, and that was our first crystal sword drop in the game. So I was pretty happy about that. Here I find a few more enemies to kill, and then we go off to the barracks. I'm pretty sure we go off there. Any class-specific items you see, like the wrist blades, I highly recommend you do not pick up, because they sell for crap. There are a few exceptions, which are eagle orbs and preserved heads, or anything about those. Those are fairly decent in terms of money selling if they have good skills attached to them. Anyways, there used to be a unique monster in this area right here. However, they took it out, and they also took out one in the inner cloister as well, so you won't have to deal with that. But we, as you've noticed, we've entered the barracks, which means we're going to be starting to find new enemies and lots of very dark areas. The main enemies you're going to be fighting are bone archers, as well as the death clans, and pretty soon bone mages as well. What you really want to watch out for are the archers and minion monsters, because you'll find quite a few minion monsters in the barracks and the jail cells. I also apologize for it being so dark, but that's just the nature of this game. You'll also find a lot of champion versions of monsters, such as these champion Devilkin shamans. As with all of those kinds of guys, they all drop really good money if they drop money, or really good rare or sometimes rare, sometimes mostly magic items, like that Grand Charm that I just got, and other stuff. And there's what I was talking about with the Preserve Head. That one was not good because it didn't have any good skills on it, skill enchantments, but the other ones that I've found so far did. Also expect to find lots of locked chests and chests in this area, so it might be a very good idea to get a lot of keys for this area and the next upcoming areas. You also notice that we started finding bone mages. Those are the monsters that I like targeting first, because they always seem to go down very quickly whenever I take care of them, and they seem to be the main damage dealers. Right here I found a minion monster that, unfortunately for me, is cold enchanted. I really hate cold enchanted minion monsters, and that's what I call them. I call them minion monsters even though they aren't really called minion monsters. I have actually no real idea what they're called. They're not called unique monsters. I just call them minion monsters because they usually have minions with them and stuff like that. So that's the main reason why I call them minion monsters. But that cold enchanted and lightning enchanted are the two that I really do not like in this game, because they can deal a ton of damage to you. Anyways, we continue on in this area, mainly finding doors, and that green glow right there hints that there are indeed champion death clans in here. So I was pretty sure that I would find them, but all three of them dropped a lot of gold. As you can see, they all dropped over 100 gold, which is really awesome. I also picked up the Rondichet because it's a Paladin only item, and sometimes they have really good Paladin skills attached to them, only that one didn't. Also in this area, you're just going to start finding bookshelves. If you find any bookshelves, always check them, because they always contain a tome or a scroll, which both items are very, very good, especially if you find tomes, because they usually have 2 to 4 scrolls inside of them. Anyways, over in this area I find the door to the level 1 jail, which means I'm not going in the right direction to complete the quest for Charsi, which is the killing the Smith quest. Some words of warning about the Smith. I'll explain those when we actually get there, but as you can see, you can sometimes go into rooms with lots of mages and archers, and you can get your damage whittled down to like half, or less than half. And sorry for the yawning, I'm recording this pretty early in the afternoon for me, and I woke up a few hours ago, and I just got another gem, which is good because I seem to be picking up a lot of gems lately in this game, which is awesome. And speaking of gems, there's a jewel right there, which turns out to be a jewel of craftsmanship, I believe. No, a jewel of something. I can't really read it, but it increases maximum damage by 3 if I equip it into a socketed item. I don't plan on using it, but I'm going to keep it in my stash in case I want to add it to a sorry about that yawn. A piece of crap armor or weapon that I pick up, but I don't see myself I actually don't use it at all. And here we go, we find another minion monster. I can't remember what this one, oh yeah, this one's just extra fast, meaning that all of their movements are faster than normal. Nothing really to be worried about with that one, to be perfectly honest. Also in here I find several bookshelves, or not in this room, but in a different room I find on this floor that one had a Tome and Town portal, and you can really get a lot, as I've said earlier, you can pick up a lot of tomes and scrolls in this dungeon. And I really need to stop yawning because that's interrupting my commentary now. But over this way, I think, no, I can't remember where exactly I found the smith on this level. I do need to remind you guys that your barracks will look completely different than mine because each game is randomly generated. All the areas are randomly generated, so every area that I show you in this game are completely different. And I found the smith. What you need to do is you need to clear out every item, every monster in the room. You want to do this because you don't want to have anything else attacking you while you're taking care of the smith. Because the smith is extra strong, meaning he can hit very hard. However, I seem to have not too much trouble with him because I killed him very, very quickly. Actually, I killed him extremely quickly, which I was not expecting to kill him as quickly as I did. But what I did do is I went ahead and identified those two, picked up that magic scimitar, and then I went over here and picked up the Horadric Malus, which is a very good weapon. However, you can't keep it, so you have to go and return it to Charsi, who will give you the option to imbue a weapon for you for free. It can't be rare socketed or anything else. It has to be normal, or I think you can also, no, I think it has to be normal. There's some people choose to wait to use it until late in the game. However, I just don't see the reason to do that. I actually went ahead and also in this episode, which you'll see in a minute, I actually decided to show the complete text for, I decided that I will show the complete text for the entire, if it's very important to the storyline, which this next upcoming dialogue is, I will remain quiet so you can hear it for the entire speech, and it's going to be coming up from Deckard Kane in a little bit after I sell this stuff. And for that entire time, I'm actually going to be completely quiet. So I'm just letting you know that I'm doing that on purpose. So we go over here to find Deckard. We first deposit our money, then we go and find Deckard Kane. After I go to Guide, of course, because he might have some better items for us. And it turns out he doesn't yet, but I think he eventually ends up having some weapons that you can only find in the next chapter, like the kite shield, for instance, which I actually bought, but it turned out to be much worse than the spike shield that I had, so I just decided to sell it back. The double axe is another weapon that you can only find in the next chapter, so just pointing that out right now. Of course, this is post-commentary, which means that I can't really do much about that. So sorry about that, but I just go through a couple more times, seeing if there are any other items that are next chapter only, and I think, yeah, the balanced axe right there is also from the next chapter, so remember that. And there's a full helm as well, which I don't end up buying that one, but I think I end up buying a later one. I can't remember. I go into trade. Nothing seems to be better than what I'm wearing, especially in the weapon department, because I actually have a weapon that you won't find until the next chapter, and it's a rare on top of that. But I go back to gamble and don't find too much else exciting, except I do check the belts to see if there's a better belt, and I also think I do try and find a better chain gloves. I think in this, yeah, I think I do try and find a better chain glove, although I can't remember, because I recorded this on the 4th of this month, which was several days ago. There, I think this is where I buy the full helm. Yes, it is. And it actually turns out to be much better than the one I was wearing. It turns out to have 9 better defense, which I found to be awesome. I think I go a few more times, and then we go and talk to Deckard Kane and hear his speech. I think one more time, and there's the broad stuff again. I do try and get the chain boots, I think twice. Yes, I remember now. I try it twice, and these ones end up being these chain boots of Frost Nova, which actually Frost Shield, which has a 5% chance to cast level 3 Frost Nova when struck, which is level 6 sorceress spell, which casts that ring of cold around you, which actually that's what the monsters that are cold enchanted do when they die. So that was a really good find. Even though it has 4 less defense, I would gladly sacrifice those 4 defense points for the ability to cast that spell. Anyways, we now go and find Deckard Kane, and we hear his speech after I press tab, and here we go.
It is certain that we face the demon queen, Andariel, who has corrupted the rogue sisterhood and defiled their ancestral monastery. This does not bode well for us, my friend. Ancient Horadric texts record that Andariel and the other lesser evils once overthrew the 3 prime evils, Diablo, Mephisto, and Baal, banishing them from hell to our world. Here they caused mankind untold anguish and suffering before they were finally bound within the Soul Stones. Andariel's presence here could mean that the forces of hell are once again aligned behind Diablo and his brothers. If this is true, then I fear for us all. You must kill her before the monastery becomes a permanent outpost of hell, and the way east lost forever.
So yes, in that short but sweet speech, he basically told the story of this game in short, and he also told us of our next quest, which is to kill Andariel. Excuse me for that burp. Who is one of the lesser evils. The 3 prime evils, of course, are in this game, and yes, if you couldn't tell, we are going to have to fight them. So, but that won't be for many videos down the road. We won't be probably fighting Mephisto until probably episode 50 or so. I expect this LP to last about 100 episodes, which may seem a lot for a game like this, but I want to cover it as completely as possible. And here I'm just explaining stuff again, where I'm going to end this episode and then the next episode, which doesn't happen, and actually ends up taking me 2 episodes to get through the jail because of my computer overheating and me having to go back through the jail, from the jail level 1 to the inner cloister. However, the second time I do it in like 3 times less, takes me 3 times less time to actually get through it the second time, but we'll see that very soon. I choose to resurrect my hireling here for 760 gold, which is actually a very good price. And I check her equipment again, just to make sure. And I actually advise having it because it really helps. Now, now that we have this, I actually go around looking for stuff to pick up, and I actually think I do pick up this. Do I pick up the superior hard leather armor? I can't remember. But I check in here first, and then I think I go down and pick it up. I think. Nope, I just leave it. Ah, stupid me. But we head back to where the area where I found the area way down to the jail cells are, which is way over to the right there, where my mouse pointer was a second ago, which is quite a distance. And we go down to the next floor pretty quickly, and we pretty quickly find the next waypoint, which is really good because yeah, I didn't want to spend too much time on this video, and it still ended up being just over 22 minutes, which I didn't really want it to be that long. But as this floor was, the jails are going to be very much so yes, you're right, Paladin, this is no place for a warrior to die. And I can tell you that my warrior does not die at all. But I do go ahead and open all those barrels, and I just noticed a slight bit of lag, but it's not too bad. And as I said earlier, expect these floors to take quite a while. I can tell you right now, it took me 32 minutes to get through the levels of the jail, and I expect it to take me about another 32 minutes to get down to where Andariel is. But there is the waypoint, and that is pretty much this episode. So in the next episode, we go and continue on through the jails. So until next time, this has been Razorflamekun, and may all of your days shine brightly. Can't wait to see you for the next episode. Later, folks.